My theme began based on my personal experience. I have collected and documented all sorts of things since I was a child, and my desire to collect and possess has continued to this day. The main object of my collection are those that imply a long time, history, and story. I think all things have a history of their own time, and there is a story of things going through accordingly. So I like to create and imagine stories of things in my way. Especially, I like things like bones, leather, and stuffed creatures. Any living thing will have a life they've been through, and I like to imagine the story and own it. This desire to collect and possess has continued, and my archaeological interest has eventually led to the desire to collect human bones. As a collector, to own the human remains is my last goal. I contacted the Archaeological Research Lab in Eindhoven and asked for an interview.
De selectie opslaan als later. En dat kan wel deze.
Yeah, this is volunteers' work also if they like to get more knowledge about finds or so. This is not, the most are not from excavations, but just finds from volunteers and from amateur archaeologists.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, can you use? I say, yes, I'll just put it here or so. And for education, this is also fine always. We have some metal things, especially here the iron things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the pottery, also from Middle Ages. This is Asian porcelain, European porcelain, British, this one, 18th, 19th century. There's clay pipes, this here. This one is very easy made, so for children, this one to make with soap or so, with bubbles. Yeah. Like this one is a real one. This is 17th century. This is white clay.
Clay.
Baked, yeah. This, they started to smoke tobacco in 17th century. Then the English had tobacco around the year 1600, and then it came also to the Netherlands. And there's restoration of ceramics.
Yeah.
And the most done technique is with gypsum and with pigments in it.
Ja.
For Helmond. Alles voor Helmond. There's coffee, I think so. Yes.
Wat?
It's 3 o'clock, yeah? There's some coffee in a while. This one I started a year ago myself, but I still don't have too much time. Also gypsum, about the right color.
The plaster.
Yeah, the plaster. It's strong enough. Yeah. Helmond, it's almost done, but I think I will paint it a little bit with acrylic paint, because there's different colors in it.
But how can you make this kind of details without original pieces?
Yeah.
How do you know the original shape?
Yeah, it was not this one, it was the other one, this one. It was made like this, just round, but they always have this kind in it. Always, so, it must have been here somewhere. Like it comes like this from excavation with a card in it. Also nowadays it's printed. We write still here, and then you do the washing. That's the first part when it comes in here, and then it will be put here for drying, and then later it will be sorted. So like this things, you sort them out, and you can find them in literature how old they are. So here's a symbol on it, so you can see how old it is. And then it's documented a few weeks ago. It has been found in excavation in Helmond, 2004. It was never cleaned. I thought, well, it's kind of shaped. So, and iron is mostly thrown away by archaeologists because they would like to have better things. It's got lots of money also to clean it, but we have volunteers. They just clean it in a day or so. And then we can see an N, and like number here. And this is something from the industry, I think from 19th century industry from Helmond. Some part of a machine or so. So she was looking up in this book if she can find it, but I don't think it's in it. It says specific, this one. I've never seen it before. Like you put it like this, you can see those lines here.
Yeah.
Here's the center, and you can, I think, turn it like this, and you lock it here.
Yeah.
Something like
So
that. But what kind of machine? I don't know. You can see it's a bit rounded,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because they have a wheel. It turns quite fast. They put glass on it, and it makes a round plate, and then they cut off pieces. So then the end is thicker here, and in the middle of this glass circle is also thicker like this, because the speed is less in the middle.
Through collaboration with the local museum, I was able to own the bones of someone without family or friends. In spite of no one can tell what he was like in his life. From basic research, I could only see that he was a man who lived in the 18th century. He could have been the head of a wealthy family who loved by all, or so poor and despised by all. Now, 200 years later, he is an object made up of only a skull and leg bone. Found in a corner of a farm, he came to me with the name tag "No Value." He is silent. I was able to do a DNA test through collaboration with the local museum in Eindhoven, where I found him.
Hello, my name is Anne Houseman. I was contacted by Sung Bin Young, and I was involved in a project to investigate DNA samples of the human remains that he provided, and to find some descendants from it. The Forensic Lab Eindhoven is a laboratory supported by Noord-Brabant, and it investigates and studies unidentified human bodies. According to our investigation, the human remains he brought were male, and are from the 18th century. They were buried for a long time in soil similar to mud, so we were able to stay pretty intact. And we were able to take DNA samples relatively easily. We were about to send the DNA we've collected to City Hall all over the Netherlands, and we think we'll be able to use the databases of each institution to find descendants that are currently alive.